Hi everybody, it's Doreen and welcome back to day 5 of the 2011 Thanksgiving cards with the Cricut. We're making once again a gatefold card, and this is what it's going to look like. So when you open it up, you have your sentiment in the inside. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how to make this quick and easy card. Okay everybody, so I'm going to bring up the supplies so we can get started making card number 5 of the series. So we're going to be making another gatefold card, and our card once again measures 8.5 by 5.5, and you're going to go ahead and score it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8, and then you're going to make sure that you crease your score marks down as much as possible, because in the end you want this to lay flat for when you open up the gatefold. So now let's talk about our panels for each side. Our panels measure 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I've taken again the Tim Coffee K & Company cardstock, and I've gone ahead and cut out from this particular cardstock, and it looks like this on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and lay these down, and I'm going to get tape on both of my pieces. So I'm going to run it down the middle, and then I'm going to get some on the edges. And I'm just going to put that piece aside and go ahead and do my other side and get some tape on the edges of this one as well. So now, before I lay this down, I want to just kind of line this up and see which way I want this to lay. And I guess it really doesn't matter how it is, and I think I want to lay it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my left side and flip that over, and then technically when it's facing you, you'll be putting it on your left, but it's really your right side of the front of the card. So it faces like so. So now let's go ahead and line up our second panel piece. And I want to go ahead and try to get my edges even at the top. And then I'm just going to go ahead and move over just a little bit so I can make sure I don't get this on the inside of the card. So first what I'm going to do, and it's kind of hard for me to see this, and it looks like I need to be up, and I probably should have marked it with the pencil because this paper is just a little bit darker. And the cardstock that the card itself is made out of is some of that linen cardstock by Joann's. Okay, so now I have that down. We're going to go ahead and layer our top piece onto our bottom piece layer. And this piece of cardstock measures 3 inches by 4 inches. And this is some more of the linen cardstock or textured cardstock by Joann's. And I've gone ahead and inked my edges using the Distress ink by Tim Holtz, the Gathered Twigs. And I also inked my panels with the same thing. And I'm just going to move the card aside for a minute because we need to go ahead and talk about our top piece. So now, to cut out my little leaf and swirl up here, I used the Thanksgiving cartridge once again, and this was a solution cartridge from last year, and it does not come with a handbook, so this is the key, which is key number 4, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's key number 37. Oh, I'm sorry, 17 is my top layer. And then I also cut out key 37, and I put that one on the top, and I put key 17 on the bottom. So what that looks like on the Gypsy, and these were both cut at 2 1/4 inches. So let's go ahead and go to key 17, and it looks like this. So I have that one on the bottom, and then I went ahead and cut 37 and put that one on the top. So now when I cut these out, I cut them out in cream color cardstock, and then what I did was I took the Stampin' Up! Pocket Silhouettes stamp, and I used this stamp right here, and I just lightly took some of my Distress ink, the Wild Honey, and stamped that out, this stamp, all over both layers. And I also did that for the Happy Harvest. And the Happy Harvest is from the Martha Stewart Seasonal Cake Art. And that is on page 52. And it looks like this. And so what I've done for that is, let's go to the Gypsy. I cut it out with the height being 1.5 inches, and then I took off the aspect ratio button again, and I just squeezed in my width so that I could get it to fit inside the 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch square. So that ended up being 2.36 on my Gypsy. Now how you would cut that out on your Cricut without using a Gypsy, I would just cut it maybe at the 1.5 inch size, and then if it overflows over onto your bottom layer here, then that should be okay. What you don't want it to do is to go over too far over to here, because then you won't be able to open your card. You'll have that hanging off. Or I guess you could leave it like that if you wanted. So now, let's go ahead and just tape this down to this layer here. So I'm going to pull out my ATG gun again and make sure I get some tape all the way around. And then I'm just going to add this. And I've gone ahead, as I said, or if I didn't say, I inked my edges using the gathered twigs again. And then I'm just going to press that down. So now what I need to do is go ahead and erase my measurements I have here on the back. After making the 5 gatefold cards, I think I know what each layer is. So I want to go ahead and line up where I want this to go on the card. And then I'm going to mark this with a pencil, just in that corner edge there. And then you want to put your tape on your left side, not on your right, because then your card won't open. So then we're going to flip this and add our tape, and when you add your tape, you'll be adding it to the right side when it's facing you. But technically, you're putting it on the left. when you turn it around. So now I'm going to open up that one side, find my pencil marks. And then I'm going to just press down. And as you can see, I went just over just a little bit too much with my tape. So I'm just going to take my adhesive remover and run that down so we can remove that tape from that one side. And this adhesive remover, I've used this before. I believe it's by EK Success, and I picked this up at my local scrapbooking store. So now that is the outside of our card. So let's go ahead and add our sentiment. And I've used my Inkadinkado stamp set, the Harvest Expression again, to lay out my stamp. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up my mat or my foam piece, and because this cardstock is so dark, I'm going to go ahead and use my Memento Tuxedo Black to stamp out my image. And I want to make sure I get lots of ink on the stamp because I want this to show through on this cardstock. So let's make sure I get it inked up very well, which I believe I have. And then I'm going to go ahead and line up where I want it to go. And then I'm just going to press down and lift up. And so what I've stamped out is fall colors and just Happy Thanksgiving. So that's it. That is my 5th card of the 2011 Thanksgiving cards with the Cricut. So stay tuned for day number 6, and this time it won't be a gatefold card. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.